Hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Checked Out Podcast, episode 33. Woo!
Dave Yeany today, guys. Super excited. I'm Doug. This is my brother, Ryan. We are second-generation retailers working in the grocery industry while trying to do a podcast and do all those things we got to do to get the job done.
And, you know, we couldn't do our job without our headline sponsor. Big thanks to PA Skill Alliance. Check out Start Your Road to Winning by playing genuine Pennsylvania skill games. Support businesses that keep communities thriving. Go to www.paskillalliance.org for more information. And remember, everybody, it's skill,
Not luck, baby.
skill, not luck, baby. paskillalliance.com.
Guys, we're with a crazy, amazing, very interesting guest today, Dave Yeany. Yeany's maple syrup, one of Ryan's favorite items of all time. Let's talk about the growth from basically his backyard to 15,000 tap maple syrup in Pennsylvania and another 25,000 in Michigan. And the guy talks about his PhD. He had to drop out of school at 10 because he was too busy hitchhiking, or 10th grade, because he was too busy hitchhiking to California and Maine.
I mean, he's a true mountain man, PhD in life, like you said. He's been dodging predators, Bigfoot festivals, and making some great syrup that I've chugged down with. Oh, man, we use it for everything. But hey, you know, if you think you've accomplished a lot, Dave's here to say, hold my chug.
Chug or jug?
Chug. Wait, that doesn't make sense.
No,
Say jug. Let's say jug.
It's a jug. But guys, we have a packed show today. We're finally killing the whole idea of the customer's always right. And we're talking about a crazy $18.7 million underground black market maple syrup ring.
And I've got a PA snack icon on my grocery list today as my grocery item of the week. And Doug has a totally unhinged story. So let's get into it.
So Ron, what's happening this week?
This week, two athletic endeavors that I just want to cover. One is hot dog eating contest, Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest, Coney Island, New York. Great tradition, been going on for, I forget how many years they're on now. I want to say it started in like 72, but 18-time winner now, Joey Chestnut. But this year's a little different because our little friend Joey, I shouldn't say little, he's a pretty big dude. But I don't know if you remember, I met him in the Lipari show one time in Michigan.
That's a great picture.
Yeah,
You guys should have
great
Noah.
picture. Yeah, it's a great picture. But anyways, and he was a real nice guy. It was awesome to meet him. But this year was a little more of a challenge. I mean, most of us have been in a situation where maybe we have a couple of drinks, maybe one too many or whatever. Maybe not one too many, but you're in a bar environment and somebody just starts kind of running their mouth and, you know, you get yourself caught into it. Well, you know, Joey unfortunately got into an incident where it ended with him slapping a guy in the face.
Wait, you're telling me a guy that eats hot dogs for a living in mass quantities had an overindulgence problem?
Never thought about that, but yeah, valid. Yeah, he slapped, open hand, slapped the guy, straightened him out in the bar. Problem is, the guy didn't like that and pressed charges. And Joey ended up with probation for a year, which covered the event. So he had to get special, you know, parole, you know, leave, so to speak, to go and even have a chance to enter and, you know, defend his crown. So he did that. He went there, chugged down 63 hot dogs. I think his record is 78. So, but 63 got it done. And he won the title. So that's the one athletic endeavor. The other athletic endeavor, a little short, my daughter, one and a half almost. Wow, it's crazy. She was like, took forever to walk. But now she's on the loose. And she kind of, it's like, she looks like some kind of a, what do you call the guy with the things hanging out of his for the Halloween?
Frankenstein?
Yeah, like sometimes, like if she was bigger, it'd be a little creepy if you saw her shadow, because to balance herself, she kind of has her arms up like this, and she's like staggering back and forth. And when she's running, it's kind of wild to watch it happen. Well, the other night we're upstairs and we're in my room and I'm turning the fan on with the remote. She's obsessed with it now, so she grabs the remote. She's there. Next thing I know, she's running down the hall with the remote towards the laundry room, and I'm like, okay, she's safe over there. There's nothing she can get into. I hear her rattling around, so I go out and I'm like, I find her, and she has this like little grin on her face, and I'm like, where's the remote, Shar? And she just looks at me, and I'm looking for the remote. I can't find the remote, and I'm looking for everywhere. Finally, I open the dryer just for the heck of it. She had opened the dryer, thrown the remote in the dryer, and shut the door. And as soon as I looked at her, even at her age, she knew something was up. She turns and starts running and yelling, runs right into the wall, falls down to the ground. She's crying, but she's running. So I'm happy that she's running. She's a kid. It's great. What's happening with you, Doug?
Well, mine was a little more violent than that, but Duke and so in bedtime we always read books with Duke, and so his bedtime he's getting ready to come to bed, and I'm sitting there and we were playing. He likes to play hide and go seek, so I was playing hide and go seek. So I was having my eyes closed, I was underneath the blanket, and I was counting to 10. And when I got to 10, I put the blanket down, and all of a sudden, like it's a giggle, he jumps in the air and whips my phone like a professional pitcher. And the edge comes and smacks me right above the eye. And I'm like rolling around in pain. And he knew it. He knew. And he went downstairs and Lynn's like, what's the matter? And he's like, Dad's not doing good. I smacked him in the face with his own phone. And I'm like, it was like probably a good 5 minutes of recovery. And then I finally got him like, wow, buddy. He's like, what? I'm like, you're not at 1 anymore. When you throw stuff, it hurts.
Well, and he's 4. But he's a strong, this guy is like the real life Bam Bam. He's a strong kid. He's 4, but I think he could probably take most 8-year-olds.
Oh, for sure.
So it's not like you got some little cute little, he is cute, but like some little 4-year-old just like, this is like a grown man 4-year-old, just Roger Clemens style. You're like he didn't knock you out.
It hurts so bad. But speaking of knockout, I got called down to Leechburg this week, and we're working. Everybody's working so hard. We're all working hard to make Leechburg great again. And two of the local, I actually went to school with one of them. Decided to get in a spat about whose girlfriend's who, and literally on the camera, I'm watching the cameras, and literally there's this guy in the parking lot lurking in the parking lot. Actually, this could be my retail story of the week. The guy's lurking in the parking lot. He's out there. You can see him just on the camera kind of going back and forth, and around this car. And then all of a sudden, this couple walks out, and they get in the car, and this guy is he's just like losing it. He's like jumping up and down, trying to open the door, trying to break the window. And so the driver of the car, who's the guy, the girl's in the passenger seat, opens the door. This guy, I've never seen somebody move this fast, flips around the back of the car. And as the kid's standing up, he's turning his shoulders to look back, see what's going on behind him. This kid jumps from the back of the back tire of the car, Superman, and punches him in the face, breaks his nose, blood everywhere. And they literally, the kid with the bloody nose comes back in. They call 911. Ambulance shows up. Whole ordeal. Ends up on the news, 3 o'clock news. So 2 knuckleheads fighting over whatever they're fighting over today. Whatever scraps of society that Fraulein was, got us on the news, and not for good reasons. So now they earn themselves permanent banment from the store that only one of them owns a car.
You know what Dad would say?
What?
He'd say, that whole thing, all he'd say is, you know what? We lost 2 customers over this. So we have coverage of this.
Oh, it's great footage.
We have footage of this.
Yeah.
I got to see this footage.
We'll have to wait till after the court trial to show, because then it's evidence right now.
No, I know. I got to view it outside the cast. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now, we have a lot of things happen in the stores. Thankfully, we don't have this kind
lurking,
no.
With murderous
You
intent.
saw him waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting. It's funny. That's like the 4th straight story I've heard where the guy that is in a fancy way, like when they say protagonist and the antagonist, who's the guy that starts stuff? Is that the antagonist?
Yes.
This is like the 4th straight story where the antagonist gets his kicked. I mean, it is. It's like the 4th straight story where I've heard the guy that's like getting it going, pushing the action, ends up getting it taken to him.
Well, obviously, this guy was pushing the action with this girl, but the guy that didn't like it is the one who actually got the punch in.
But generally speaking, from my own personal experience, if I'm there and my wife or whoever's there, and I got some crazy hyena scratching at my door trying to get in, you're not going to react very well there. Now, personally, I would have probably driven off, tried to just drive off. I mean, to get out Patrick Swayze Roadhouse style, just go around the car and end it right there.
Well, no. The guy that got out of the car got Superman punched.
Oh, wait, whoa.
Yes.
Okay, I got it all wrong. Okay, so the guy that was in the car driving
got up to confront and turned around to a Superman punch and then literally just lights out.
Okay, I had it all wrong. So the crazy guy that was lurking with all the pent-up aggression is the guy that unleashed a fury on this guy.
I blame one song for all this behavior. Please don't take. Any man that screams out about a woman, you need to get like your house in order a little bit, because if you're that desperate to not take your beautiful things, you're gonna be in trouble.
Well, if that was inspired by real life events, it worked out pretty well for him, because I just got a video texted to me from Shay Gattaning. She went to that concert, and Benson Boone literally, I mean, he did a flip that would make what's the show out in Vegas? The
Cirque du Soleil.
I think he might have qualified for at least a second interview. I mean, it was an amazing flip.
Well, it's amazing.
And the women love it when he flips, man.
Well, I know, but it's amazing because you look at him and you're like, that's like Drew from work. Like,
he's like a normal dude.
He doesn't look like some fitness gymnast guy.
Could be me or you. One of us needs to learn how to flip.
Till we get killed, break our neck.
I don't even like flipping into a pool. Yeah.
Well,
anyways.
Interesting. Welcome to our world. And speaking of our world, beyond dealing with all the shenanigans of the retail industry, which is always fun, this week's retail stereotype: the customer is always right.
Man, we've heard that a lot in our life.
I'm just going to say it right now. The customer always right is the most toxic phrase in the history of shopping. And it really ruined the shopping experience for a lot of people, and it's pushed a lot of good people that work in retail out of the business.
Well, I mean, it was originally designed to be a marketing gimmick 100 years ago. Somehow, we've let that turn into a free pass for people to verbally abuse our cashiers and overuse 50-cent coupons. It's gotten out of control. It's gotten out of control.
Well, today we're officially putting an end to it right now.
I think we put an end to it, though, before that, Doug. I mean, you and I both have the same mentality when it comes to this. The customer's generally always right, and we treat the customers very well, but not to the point that we don't let it affect the way that our crew can conduct their business. If a customer is making a crew member feel uncomfortable, or verbally abusing them, or just being a jerk, gots to go.
Oh, no. Not regretfully, but it's just a shame that people put you in that position to have to literally throw them out of the local grocery store for acting that way. And, I can't imagine. So, what people don't realize is today's retail environment is regulated. It's inspected. It has federales crawling all over the place.
Highly.
And then it has 10 million, well, actually 250 million people just in America all have security cameras and all have social media channels. It's under so much scrutiny now. You can't get away with all the stuff you get away with, 100 years ago. In this case, 125 years ago, when all this started. Basically, back then, they needed the customer's always right as a branding because it was such a bad retail environment.
That makes sense. But things have changed since the 1900s. I mean, if you look at the context, standard retail practice was caveat emptor, buyer beware. It was a market of swindlers, and if you bought a bad product, that was on you. I mean, that's when this started. To your point, it's not the way it is now.
No, and then back then it was like, we hear you, we take your complaints seriously, and so we wanted to create this culture of customer first and put it to a higher standard to get rid of those bad actors in the market, and eventually, it's changed into where we see it today, But at the same time, though, it doesn't give the customers the right to rewrite store policy to get whatever they want to get done. I just had a situation in Saxonburg. A customer bought a box of apples. It was like what, July 1st? July 1st. And they wanted to make apple pie for 4th of July. They bought a case of apples, right? So rolls around. Now we're at July 10th. They come back. They're like, hey, I want to return these apples. They're too ripe now. I'm like, it's been sitting on your counter for a week. So, I handled it.
Like I've been saying all week, no it's like my phrase of the week, man.
Well, no, and to the point was like this lady came in, like she's like this. I have my receipt, I have my app card, I have my evidence. Here's the body of evidence. I said, did you have it in refrigeration? Well, no, it's apples. I'm like, yeah. When's the last time you've seen apples stay out of refrigeration for more than a day? And to the same point, so she was like, she could have been a last defender on the line, holding back whatever kind of enemy was trying to penetrate the castle. Stalwart. So I said, ma'am, obviously, I can't relate to you the process of what we do to prevent this from happening. It's a fresh product out of refrigeration for a long period of time during the hottest 4th of July we've had in 20 years. I was like, but I get it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to weigh up all these apples. I'm going to give you the sale price and store credit.
It's fair. Very fair.
Completely unacceptable. Well, I want credit for the whole case. And I'm like, bring the whole case back. She's like, well, I made pies with it. The pies weren't that great. I said, I get it.
Wait a minute. They ate the pies?
Oh, yeah. The pies are gone. The pies are gone.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm sitting there. I'm like, and again, they teach you now because, again, back to my original previous point, everybody likes to be a big rock star on social media and bash small businesses or big ones or in between, the 4 stars of Google or the 3 stars of Google or the real dregs of society, the 1 stars of Google. To the same point, the idea is not, you're not going to get them to walk out and say, you know what, you're right. I should have probably refrigerated those. The key is max friction. You tell them, excuse me for a second. Let me bring our produce manager up who's been in the business for 30 years. Let her look at that and let's just, please tell her the story. And then I'm going to have you tell this person the story. And then I'm going to have to go get a gift card. I'm going to have to put money on the gift card. It's going to be a 25-minute process. Friction.
Yeah, make it hurt a little bit.
Well, yeah, but the idea is not to embarrass her. The idea at the end of the day...
Make it uncomfortable for somebody to take advantage of the system.
Right, because if she can game that, she can game other things within the store policies. And back to the thing, it doesn't protect our people because then it puts a lot of onus on them.
Yeah, and people forget, the original phrase had a second half. The customer is always right in matters of taste. Meaning, if they want to buy an ugly hat, let them buy an ugly hat. Not let them return a half-eaten steak.
And, it's the hardest lesson of running a store. You can't please everyone. And if you try, you're just going to alienate your team.
This is the absolute truth for any owner listening. The moment you side with a screaming irrational customers to make the situation go away, you have instantly lost the respect of your employees. And we always have that in mind. We were taught that by our dad. We have that in mind when we're dealing with any interaction. We always think about our employees first, and making sure, you shouldn't be uncomfortable at work. You have enough to worry about with your job. You shouldn't be made to feel uncomfortable at work or intimidated in any way. That being said, we do what's fair for all. And sometimes the customer comes in and they don't agree with that, but that's the beauty of having your name on the side of the building. You are the judge, jury, and executioner.
I'm going to throw a new saying out. I think the new saying shouldn't be the customer's always right. I think the employee's always right until proven otherwise. That way it puts the onus on the customer. And again, people, we've talked about it all the time. Retail's tough. Retail's unforgiving. Retail is being consistent over a long period of time and doing that to a high level. So, to take one of those people that you put so much time, so much effort into and have to tell them, hey, you know what? Sorry. Sally, who's been here a customer for 1 minute, is going to make you want to quit your job.
Yeah. And let's face it, it's hard to find new customers. And obviously we're not saying you want to turn away customers. We want as many good customers as possible. But when you have a bad apple, so to speak, somebody that's just causing you a lot of problems, causing your people a lot of problems, it is best and it's great for morale to get them out of the store, ban them temporarily, ban them whatever from the store, because your people the morale's going to be rise up because they're going to say, okay, this guy's got my back. But at the same time, if you don't do that and you let these customers walk over your people and make them feel uncomfortable, then these couple bad apples, let's face it, we have, over 15,000 customers come into our 3 stores every week. Actually, it's closer to 20,000 people. And really, we only have a handful of bad interactions. So 99.99% of our customers are amazing. But for those couple that aren't, you got to get them out of there. Because if you don't, and you let this happen, your employees are going to lose respect for you. They're going to think you don't have any respect for them. And you're going to lose good employees. And we know, man, it's not easy to find a good employee.
No, you can only train so much. You got a good person can be trained to do anything. A bad person cannot be trained to be good, and that's why it's important. But you know what, guys out there listening right now, drop some comments of the ridiculous customer things you've heard, or try to see people get away with. Best story gets a shout out in the next episode.
Yeah, that sounds good. We want to hear your feedback and your stories. Now, speaking of stories, it's origin story time, and Doug, do you remember when the Oscar Mayer, fitting for summer, Oscar Mayer Wienermobile came, or is it Wienermobile? Wiener or Wienermobile came to Leechburg and apologized. What one is it?
I like you to use whatever you want makes you happy.
Wienermobile.
It's Wiener.
Wienermobile sounds better.
No, it doesn't. Oh my God. It sounds creepy. It sounds like somebody got a problem. I do remember the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. For those who don't know, it's a large hot dog and a bun on wheels. And we found out that during the time is that college interns do that as marketing interns, do that throughout the summer. They live and ride and do hotels, but they basically the tours with the Wienermobile across the United States.
What a cool summer gig, man. Travel the United States in a vehicle that every truck driver and little kid's going to have their parents honking at you. You're like a celebrity driving around the country.
Plus, you work on your Joey cheesesteak.
Man, we shouldn't film this late in the evening.
No.
But yeah.
Joey Chestnut.
Joey cheesesteak. What I'm going to enter next year, and I'm going to go in and I'm going to call myself Joey Cheesesteak. Who's the contestant this year? Well, we have Joey Chestnut here for his 19th defense of the title, and with him is our newest entry, Joey Cheesesteak. That's fun.
Maybe we should host a cheesesteak eating contest because of nephew's business.
Nope, that's fun. Although those are freaking big, man. I don't know if you're gonna.
Oh no,
you're not gonna be chugging down 78 steakout cheesesteaks.
I think the record's gonna be 3.
Yeah, after one, I feel like I need like a lion type of nap. It's a full sandwich. Really, it's for 2. That people are like, I can't believe it's $16 or $18. Yeah, you can feed 3 people.
Yeah,
at least 2. You and I can split one and be good for a little bit.
You know what? They're the same people though. They'll go to Ontario or wherever and be like, yeah, you know what? We'll have the triple dumpling, whatever.
That's true.
They'll spend thousands of dollars. So we're in Leechburg.
Looking for more customers like that.
There's a Wienermobile parked firmly in the front of the store there. And I think we had a big hot dog sale, but then we did like a grill.
Yeah.
And we just gave them away.
No, we went full blast on it. Yeah. It was a all-encompassing marketing campaign. It was a great promotion.
The best part, though, is when another Doug, I think he was the first adult Doug I met, by the way. Because Doug was kind of like a low-profile name until I got older. Now it's Million Dougs, and it's on TV with the duck and the emu thing. And
there was Douglas MacArthur, and then there was Doug Funny.
It's a cartoon.
I know.
That's not even real.
There was a Doug in my life. So Douglas MacArthur, history.
Yeah.
Doug Funny, Nickelodeon fame, and then you.
Oh, good.
I mean, that
what
was
a
it.
legacy.
Well, I mean, Douglas MacArthur was bad.
Oh, no. The guy was a real beach stormer.
Yeah.
So Doug from Leechburg had an annual wiener roast every year, and everybody got costumes and dressed up, and it was a big deal. He somehow negotiated the Wienermobile to go to his personal home in Gilpin for the party. It was his last party. It was a big deal. He literally had it show up for the party.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Doug Bartow. What a stud.
Woo. Legend.
He would be able to do that. That guy, there's something engaging when you talk to that guy. He's just one of those guys. He's great conversationalist.
He's a great focuser, too. Focus on what you're trying to say and how you're saying it.
Yeah,
and he's naturally very funny.
He is. He's hilarious. He's hilarious.
But Ryan, it's funny how we're talking about this week's corporate word is very similar to that story. This week's corporate word is deep dive.
Yeah, corporate word of the week, baby. We're calling out the favorite phrase of every middle manager trying to sound smart. Deep dive.
You know, it's funny. I feel like some people turn everything into a deep dive. You just want like the surface level information. You just want like give me the Cliff Notes, not a bridge. Give me the Cliff Notes short version. They're like this. Oh, no. This is going to go into a deep dive. We're going to go into the weeds in this one.
Oh, no, it's so funny. It's just overly used. I mean, if one more vendor tells me I want to do a deep dive into our chip aisle, I mean, they're just potato chips, man. We don't need a submarine to figure this out. It's just a deep dive. I mean, let's just look at it. We're going to take a deep dive. I mean, you hear it in every presentation now. It's just overly used. I mean, deep dive, yeah. If we're talking about bombing, a nuclear site, okay, let's take a deep dive and do some serious research. But simple things. I mean, let's not over dramatize what's happening.
The interesting thing about all of our corporate words is most of their their origin story of all of them is usually late 90s, early 2000s, right?
Yeah.
Wolf on Wall Street.
Yeah.
They're just a bunch of cokeheads.
Yeah. Just all fired up.
And then people are like this. They sound smart.
Yeah.
Let's use that all the time.
No, they're on drugs.
But it actually started, ironically, in 99 in Silicon Valley. A firm called IDEO, IDEO, used it to describe the intense multi-day brainstorming session to solve massive problems. And the funny thing is, sometimes it wasn't even the problem with that business. It'd be like if me and you were put on a job, Doug and Ryan, how are you guys going to build a nuclear reactor?
I mean, and in that sense, I think it is definitely a fitting situation. So it actually is used to mean doing heavy lifting. Fast forward to today, it just means opening an Excel sheet. I mean, it's like you said, Doug, let's open your garage door. And I wouldn't be surprised in modern day if you're like, well, let's do a deeper dive and get out the remote and see how we can reprogram. No, I just want to open the door, man.
No. I'm a grocer. Just did the truck this morning at 4 a.m., so I don't have time for all that. I'd open the door for you, push you into your truck, not even ask you to buckle your seatbelt, and you make sure you're on your way. But that's the word of the week, guys. Corporate word of the week, deep dive. Let us know in the comments what you think. And you guys like this segment? And what are sometimes you've heard the word deep dive in your corporate environment?
Yeah, what jargon's driving you crazy? You hear it in all your calls or all your meetings or all your PDFs, and what are you seeing that's just like, man, I wish people would just stop saying that.
Exactly. But guys, this week, literally the legend of the mountain. We had to not get him on camera because, again, it's so far up in the mountains. He's going to be on the phone with us today. Can't wait. Dave Yeany. Yaney's Maple Syrup up next.
Remember the thrill of your first childhood game, maybe tic-tac-toe? Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games recaptures that excitement, offering easy-to-play, win-every-time experiences at your favorite local spots. Imagine a game where a little skill consistently turns credits into cash prizes. A game you can enjoy with others and even help them win. No need to just imagine. Genuine Pennsylvania Skill Games, championed by the PA Skill Alliance, are real. Go to paskillalliance.org for more information.
Today, we have a guest who embodies absolutely everything we respect in business and life. A true mountain man, entrepreneur, and the guy responsible for the best maple syrup anywhere. From right here in Allegheny National Forest in PA, Dave Yeany, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys. It's always good to talk to you.
Well, thanks, Dave, for coming on. It's funny, Ryan, a few weeks ago, we have a segment where Ryan basically takes an item from the store and then he brings it out of the bag, and then we talk about it. And your syrup was the number one item we had. And I think Ryan chugged a good bit of it getting ready for the show. But thanks for coming on. We're super excited to have you.
Well, it's like I said, it's good to be on here with you guys. I've always enjoyed talking to you and doing business with you over the years.
Yeah, for sure, Dave. I'll tell you what, Brandy, my wife, man, she has officially replaced sugar with Yaney maple syrup in the house. I mean, she uses at least a bottle a week, no joke. She uses it on salmon, dressings, muffins. I mean, you name it. Anything where it used to be we'd put sugar, she now throws maple, your maple syrup in it. And I mean, we're huge fans. Absolutely huge fans. In fact, I think, she uses it in her lattes. I think, Doug, you should have a seasonal latte this fall, Yaney maple latte at the store.
That'd be a great co-brand. We just got the new Voyager coffee in, and Main Street Baker took over our coffee shop, so that wouldn't be hard to do.
Dave, real quick, you told me one time when I was telling you about different things that we use the syrup for around the house, you told me a cool saying that you have for ways people can use your syrup. You want to share that with the crowd?
Yeah, absolutely. You were mentioning, your wife uses it to replace almost all the white sugar that she uses, and that's one of the great things about maple syrup and maple sugar. It can be a replacement for cane sugar and other sugars, but we use it. Well, the number one thing that my boys like it for is they like it on their ice cream, but that there's almost just kind of a given. But you can put it in your meats. If you're cooking a steak, you can take maple syrup, and as you sear your steak, just before you take your steak out, pour a little maple syrup on it, let it caramelize, and it really gives the steak a really good flavor. You can use it in your baked beans. That's kind of these are kind of things that people can kind of think of to put it in, to use maple syrup all the time. Maple syrup is not just for pancakes or just for breakfast, but it can be used in a recipe. We make maple fudge. We take maple sugar and or maple syrup, either one, use either one, and make fudge with that. We make a maple mustard. We make maple ketchup. We make a maple barbecue sauce. There's only one thing that maple syrup is not good on. Does anybody want to take a guess what it is?
Doug, you have any guesses?
I'm thinking like something hot. So I'm thinking like an enchilada kind of thing.
Oh no, we actually make have made habanero infused maple syrup. Believe it or not, the one thing that maple syrup is not good on is the ground.
Yeah, it wouldn't do much good there. Although I'll tell you what, under the right circumstances, I might get down and take it back off the ground. But
it's good. It's good with everything. Now, there's some things that it's good with, but not as good as it is with something else. I tried making rhubarb sauce with maple sugar one time, and I didn't care for it. I thought it was god awful, but I do see other people playing around with that. But with maple syrup, you can use your imagination and how to use it. There's really no wrong way to use it. It's wide open. I mean, it's a great product. It's a natural product. Whenever we boil, the only thing we do is we evaporate the water out of the sap and concentrate the sap to 66.8 brick, and it's maple syrup. And that's all there is. So it's a very simple, complicated process, if you understand what I'm saying.
Makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
It can be complicated, but it's a simple action. It's removing water from maple sap.
You know, it's interesting, Dave. You know, when Ron and I were talking about the show and interviewing you, we were talking about the fact that how important it is now to, and more than ever, to co-op with local brands. And, you know, obviously through our social media outreach, your wife saw us on Facebook and, you know, you came into the store. What were you expecting when you first met us? And, you know, what actually happened that day when you came in with the syrup and we tried it at the store?
Well, you know, I don't get very disappointed in life. So, and the way I do that is going into a new situation, I have no expectations. Okay. So whenever I went in to your store, I thought, okay, you know, we had seen you guys on your social media posts and stuff, and you guys seemed like a pretty open group of people that kind of like to have fun, was interested in new things. So, you know, I was hoping that you would be interested in our product, because a lot of times whenever you cold call a new product to somebody, you know, they go, well, yeah, well, we already have that. Or, well, you know, I don't know if we could sell that here. But you guys were really excited. I remember Doug came in the store after you and I had talked for a while. You said he was on his way over. You said, he said, this is exactly what we're looking for in our store, these type of products. And it was, you know, I came away after our initial meeting with a very positive view of what you guys were doing and what you were trying to accomplish with your three literally mom and pop grocery stores.
Yeah, no, it matched up perfect from the start. And I'll tell you what, though, you really changed our lives as far as how we operate. I mean, now Doug and I have, you know, it's literally in both of our houses at all times. It's like, okay, is there milk? Yeah. Okay. Do we have Yaney's? Yeah. Like we just went through all the different ways we use it. But the thing I never realized before that a lot of the viewers out there, I think probably still don't know, because I mean, we still sell pallets of, you know, log cabin and what else. And what people
Anderson maple
syrup still on the shelf. Yeah. And I'll tell you what, I've done a taste test side by side because I wanted to see the difference. And I'll tell you, like, it's almost, to me, it's like for drinking beer purposes, it's the difference between a full on ale and like you know, a Coors Light. It's, to me, Anderson is just, it's like if you took your product and put it through about 10 filters and added, you know, 25% water. That's what I taste when I taste like an Anderson. And yours has like a deeper flavor. Can you explain like the difference there? Like, why is your flavor so much fuller than theirs?
Yeah. Now hold on to your seat for this one. I sell Anderson maple syrup.
What?
I sell Steve Anderson maple syrup in Michigan. Our sugar house in Michigan, we make maple syrup, and I take my maple syrup in Michigan down to Cumberland, Wisconsin, and sell it to Andersons.
Really?
Okay.
Wild.
Yeah. Yes. Now, and what you're getting from me that says Yaney's on it is a single source product. It's the way it tastes coming off the evaporator. And I probably shouldn't say this. Andersons don't make maple syrup.
Wait, what?
They pack maple syrup.
Oh.
And they buy maple syrup from other producers. Now, they had made maple syrup, but at some point in the game, they got out of making maple syrup and just buying maple syrup and packing it.
Wouldn't that be, how do they get consistency if they're buying from all these different suppliers from different regions and such?
Is they have, and this is just not Anderson's. There is about 15 big packing houses in the United States in maple syrup. They buy, there's a lot of producers that just want to make maple syrup and don't want to pack it. They put it in barrels and they send it off to a packer. They sell it by the pound. Okay, so what the packing houses do is they take the maple syrup and it's all graded by color and flavor. And they take similar colors and similar flavors and put them in a big vat and heat it up to the packing temperature and pack it that way. So you're getting a blended product.
Oh, that's interesting. That explains, that answers the question. So yours is like right from the situation, where theirs is getting mixed with some other people's and adding some stuff. I see.
No, they don't add anything.
Oh, they don't add anything. Okay.
No, it's pure maple syrup, and it's all maple. I'm not gonna say all maple syrup's good, but all the maple syrup on the store shelves is probably good. There's some that are better than others. And the thing of it is, how social media and that all works, where, they say, who makes the best maple syrup, or who has the best maple syrup in this part of the country, or who has the best syrup in the country. And they take large operations, packing houses, and some of the packing houses also make their own syrup, but they bring in a lot too. And those are the ones that get the mentions, like Ben's out of New Hampshire, or Combs, or there's another one, it just missed, I just forgot the name of it. But anyhow, Run Amok Maple. People say, these are the best, that's the best. Well, those might be the best out of the packing houses, but the best syrup comes out of operations like ours, where we sell single source maple syrup. We don't blend ours with anybody's. We don't blend it. When it comes out of the barrel, it goes into the jug, and that's the way it came off the evaporator.
A question, Dave, with the syrup that we have, does it change flavor profiles and consistency based on weather and season, or is it pretty consistent across the board?
Nope, it'll change flavor profiles. Early in the season, the syrup has a lighter flavor to it. Whether it's a lighter color, that can actually be manipulated some, but the flavor, early season syrup has a milder, a more delicate flavor. And as the season progresses and more bacteria grows, the flavor becomes bolder and the color becomes darker. And at the end of the season, it can get really dark, and then if you're still producing, the weather can change, you get a good freeze, and it'll come back to light colored maple syrup. If it does that, the season end is very close, because that light flavored maple syrup no longer has a light flavor. It has a light color, but a dark flavor, and it isn't really that good. But maple syrup itself, there isn't any maple syrup that's made that can't be sold and made for some use whatsoever. Dark maple syrup, the very dark, and what they call some of the processing grade, where they actually have to do things to it to make it usable. A lot of times that can go into cow feed, that can go into chewing tobacco. It can be used for a sweetener for something else that doesn't require good flavor. It just requires that sweetener, and that you can actually kind of lose that flavor in the product and you just keep the sweetness. So there's all kinds of maple syrup that's made in all different qualities. But what we sell a grade A maple syrup. We grade it by color and density, and flavor, and that's what we pack in our containers and sell to our customers.
You know, it's a great product, and you know, you can definitely tell there's been a lot of work put into it. You know, before we start talking about like the process a little more, you know, we want to kind of find out about how you got your start. And you know, recently, you said if you died tomorrow, you can say you've done some things. Looking at your resume, it's underestimated over a century. You left school in 10th grade, but you told me that you have a PhD in life. What did you mean by that?
Well, you know, a PhD is achieved by continued education. My life has been an education, and my diploma is my death certificate.
That's good. I like that.
I do like that.
I might have to take that. That's good.
I mean, really, life is an education, and you know, I just had a meeting with one of my son's gifted advisors at the school this morning, and we were talking. He's kind of not living up to his potential according to the academic standards, and I kind of explained to the to the advisor, you know, I quit school in 10th grade, and I had no use for education, formal education. I didn't like to read. I don't like to write. You know, algebra was my downfall. But I learned. I like learning, but just not in that type of a setting. And, you know, I have the ability to see things in my mind that I want to do, and I don't write it down on paper, and I figure it out in my head, and then whenever I go to do it, I can see my blueprint in my head and do it, you know. And I was kind of explaining that that's kind of the situation I think my son's in. So, you know, I says, don't despair. I says, because, you know, after he graduates, everything he did here doesn't mean crap.
Well, that's so true. That's so true. Along your PhD to life, Dave, along that path, I mean, you know, the mountain man, the maple, the career in maintenance, all the wild endeavors here, there, and in between, including hitchhiking to California 3 times before you're 17, which is wild, mind-blowing to me. What's the craziest thing on your list? Is that the craziest thing on your list when you look back through the files of getting to the PhD, the California hitchhiking?
That is crazy. That hitchhiking is crazy because there were several times where I escaped with my life.
Well, let's hear about that. First of all, let's hear. I think this is just an amazing story. Let's hear how did you get to that? How was Dave and Marionville? How did you go from Dave and Marionville, you know, looking at the trees and the beautiful mountains and everything, to Dave, I'm going to hitchhike to California?
Well, to start off with, Dave is not from Marionville.
Ooh.
I've lived here for 51 years now. But I grew up in Reimersburg.
Okay.
And I was born in a little hollow called Wildcat. And I went to Union High School for 10 and a half years. And that was back in 1973, was whenever I left high school and began hitchhiking. And I was somewhat of a hippie. Okay. Long hair, smoked pot, you know, and did all those things we did back in the 1970s, you know, and I wanted to see the country. And we were poor. I mean, we were so poor we couldn't afford to pay attention. And, you know, and I knew striking out on my own would be the only way to do it. And I had a little bit of a dust up, not necessarily with my family, but with my friends. And I just felt like, you know, I needed to remove myself from them. So I got out on the road and started hitchhiking. And I started west, and I run into another fellow who was hitchhiking. and I ended up in Maine, in Portland, Maine. And I was still in high school at the time, and I was gone for 6 weeks. I came home, and I tried to go back to school, and they wouldn't let me in school. They wouldn't let me come back to school.
What did you do in Portland, Maine? What did you do in Portland, Maine when you were there for 6 weeks?
We loafed. Okay. I mean, you gotta, I know you guys are in your early to mid 40s, and the 1970s into the early 80s was, and the 60s, 70s was a really completely different time. I mean, the culture was different. There were people who just lived by their means, and that was it. And that's what we did. We lived off the road, we would maybe take a day job here and there to get some cash to move on. I slept out underneath the stars many times. In Portland, Maine, I ran into some like-minded people and then ended up staying at their house for a couple, 3 weeks. I was the only one that had a driver's license. The one guy, his mother needed to move a bunch of furniture. So we went out and rented a truck, and I drove the truck and moved all this furniture for this lady, and of course, they paid us and they fed us, and things like that, It's an experience that I'm glad I had, but I wouldn't recommend. I would not recommend it. I don't know if you've heard about the rainbow gathering here in the Allegheny National Forest that just recently broke up.
No.
Yeah, have you ever heard of the rainbow people?
No.
It sounds like, is it a cult? It sounds like a cult.
Well, it isn't really a cult. It's free spirit, free love, sex, drugs, rock and roll, that kind of crap,
Oh, okay. Woodstock type of thing.
Yeah, only they really never left that era.
Okay.
They and it's a loosely associated organization who say they have no leaders, no organization or whatever, but they always manage to have an annual gathering in a national forest somewhere in the United States every year in July.
Never heard of that.
They just recently had one here over by Heart's Content here in the Allegheny National Forest. I've been in Marionville, like I said, for 50 years, and this is the 4th time they've held one in the 50 years in the Allegheny National Forest. But there was that kind of culture, not necessarily as rough as it is here with that. So, we hitchhiked. There was a lot of people hitchhiking at that time, too. A lot of people. There's some experiences that I can relate to you personally, but not on this podcast. That was pretty normal, and the fortunate part for me was by the time I was 19, I was married to my first wife. That probably saved my life.
Yeah, Dave, I was going to ask you, with all the hitchhiking and wild living, I mean, I've watched enough 70s movies and I've watched enough 80s movies and I've watched enough documentaries. I mean, did you have any close shaves with like some scary people? I mean, there had to have been some times where you're like, whoa.
Yes, absolutely did. Like I said, I escaped with my life probably 3 times.
Wait, like hitchhiker killer type of thing? Like,
it's like this. It was on the edge. And, people acting violently towards me, people. I hitchhiked out. My oldest brother was in the Marine Corps in Camp Pendleton, California. And I hitchhiked out there to see him. And I was staying with some people in Los Angeles. And I went down to Camp Pendleton to visit him. Came back and all my stuff was gone. Somebody stole it. So there I was stuck in California with nothing.
wow.
And I went back to the base the next day and talked to my brother, and he says, well, you're going home. He was 3 years older than me. He said he was in the Marine Corps, and he says, you're going home. He says, I'm going to get you a room at the PX, and here's $90. Get yourself a bus ticket back to Pittsburgh. And that's what it cost, was $90 from San Diego to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania on a bus. I was on a bus for 4 days.
Wow.
And I had maybe 25 extra dollars on me to buy food for those 4 days on the way home. And then I called my dad, and he came to Pittsburgh and picked me up and brought me home.
That's wild.
It's at the time I knew it was crazy, but it was, but most times I had no fear whatsoever of anything. I mean, there's situations that I was in that I wouldn't recommend anybody to be in today. And at the time, it just kind of seemed like, well, that's the way life is, But no, I grew up real quick after I got married, and I kind of settled down quite a bit. And I was married to my first wife for 40 years, and I started this business 23 years ago, and I had gotten a divorce, and I met my wife Zenobia, which both of you have met, and she's been a great partner in life and in business both, and I attribute all my current success to her.
So Dave, if we go back to, and you mentioned 20 something years ago, so it's 2004, correct? And you found yourself looking at, which we see it selling all the time in the stores, Fur, Fish, and Game magazine, and you read this article and went outside. Then what happened?
Well, I'd always been interested in maple syrup, I mean, and, I spend all my time in the woods, and I read that article. It was said you can make maple syrup in your backyard. It was a one-page article. And I thought, well, I got 4 really nice maple trees here in the backyard. It'd be kind of nice to try and do that. But I didn't have any equipment or anything, but I did know a fella that lived across the way that he was kind of a homesteader type, and that he may know something. So I called him up, and, oh yeah, he says, I actually got a pan you can boil in here, and he said, got a couple spiles you can use, So I gathered them up, and I got milk jugs and cut holes in them, said hang on the spile, and I started collecting sap, and by the time I was done for the season, I had 57 taps, and I had made 12 gallons of maple syrup, and I gave it all away.
Wow, that's wild. So it just started that small. I mean, now, let's face it. I mean, I went up and saw part of your operation, and now, the last word on the street is that you're managing 15,000 taps across 2 states. I mean, for anyone that like wants to imagine 15,000 taps across 2 states, like, and business is hard, just to describe a day. What's a day look like for Dave Yeany when the sap is running? Like when it high season, what times does it start, and what's the day look like for you?
Well, the day usually starts pretty early because sap will run overnight. Here in Pennsylvania, we have a monitoring system on our lines where I can look on my phone. They'll tell me what the temperatures are, and also have a sensor to tell me how much sap is in my tank. And those woods are 4.5 miles from our sugar house here in the middle of town in Marionville. So there's times where we got to get up in the middle of the night just to haul sap so the tank don't run over. We got a 6,000 gallon tank in the woods and a 6,000 gallon tank here at the sugar house. And so, you know, to get during a good sap run, we can haul anywhere between 10 and 15 loads of sap. We got a 725 gallon tank on our 1-ton dump truck. And so we can haul between 10 and 15 loads of sap. And once we get the sap started to come in, we start to reverse osmosis and start concentrating sap so we can get sap into the head tank to boil by evening. You know, we have here in Maryville, we have a 900 gallon head tank, and I like to get it as full as possible before we start, because the evaporator can go through a couple hundred gallons of concentrate, 12% concentrate in an hour. So we need to get plenty in here so we can, you know, by the time we get it warmed up, we don't want to have to shut it down. So anyways, that's all going on. We're hauling sap and getting ready to process that sap. Now, I usually, in the last 2 seasons, I start the season here in Pennsylvania, and Zenobia finishes it. We monitor the weather in the Upper Peninsula, and if it looks like we're going to have sap weather, I try to keep an eye on the long range. I monitor the 15th day of the 15-day forecast, and I let it back itself up 3-4 days and see if it's starting to develop a pattern. If that's the case, I jump in my box truck. It's lower. You know, I already got gear and everything there, but I load up more gear and take a 14-hour trip, 845 miles to the western Upper Peninsula of Michigan. And there we have 11,000 taps that all come to the sugar house by pump. We have 260 acres and on 2 different parcels. The one parcel has 10,000 taps on it, and then the other parcel only has a little over 1,000 on it right now, but there's possibility for expansion of, I would say we could probably put another 4,000 or 5,000 taps on that whenever we get time. And all that sap comes to the pump house under vacuum and then goes into a tank and is pumped by deep well pump underground. The furthest one pumps it a half a mile underground, and it all comes into the sugar house. And then the same thing starts happening there as it does here in Pennsylvania. Once we get a certain amount in the tanks and it's coming, we start running the reverse osmosis machine, concentrating sap, and there we concentrate a little higher. We have a 5 by 16 wood-fired evaporator that I don't like, but I've learned to use it. It's what we have there now. That it came with the operation when we bought it, and get that going and start boiling sap. And there, I have a couple of local people that help. I send them to the woods to walk the lines for vacuum leaks and to make sure that the vacuum pumps are operating the way they're supposed to. And I'll go do that myself sometimes also. And it's just a continuing monitoring process. This past winter, we really got hit hard with snow in the Upper Peninsula. It all started on Thanksgiving. We got 30 inches of wet, heavy snow, and our lines hadn't been maintained very well by the previous owners, by meaning that there was a lot of brush in the woods, so that heavy snow piled on top of that brush and pulled the lines down to the ground. And we spent, my wife Zenobia and I, and there was 4 to 5 other people that we hired from that area, spent 6 weeks on snowshoes digging those lines out of the snow so we could actually tap the trees and get them to actually run sap. We took our last snow. I took my last snowmobile ride on April the 17th this year in the sugar bush. That's the way we get around up there, is on snowmobile. It's just you just can't get along without a snowmobile or snowshoes.
You know, I don't think people realize how much sweat equity goes into making maple syrup. You know, it's wild the amount of time that takes. And so when I read that you started the Bigfoot Festival, you know, the question I have is, being that you spent so much time in the woods, have you ever seen anything? Like, have you ever seen any, like, cryptids or anything you can't explain?
The only thing that I've seen in the woods that I can't explain is why that damn fox didn't get caught in a trap whenever it went off. But no, I have never seen any evidence of Bigfoot or cryptids or whatever you want to call them. However, as I told an interviewer one time, I was being interviewed with a Bigfoot researcher, and I said, you know, I've never seen anything. However, Mary here says she's seen Bigfoot 3 times in life. I said, I don't know what she's seen, so I'm not going to question that. You know, I just know from my own experience, you got to show me. And that's why, if you've seen that picture, I text to Doug that my graphic artist did. Did you get that one, Doug?
I'm pulling it up now.
Yeah, that's why he made it.
We'll put it on the post. But look at that.
Let me see.
America.
There we go. Yes. That's got to go up, Noah. Yes.
He said you told me you'd believe in Bigfoot whenever you seen him, so here you are. You know, I got a big kick out of that. He actually made posters like that and sold them at the Bigfoot Festival.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's just like, it's not. I've actually become somewhat of a Bigfoot celebrity by default. I mean, there's people in the Bigfoot community know me.
That's ironic, given that you really have, at this point, no belief in it. Right.
Well, the one fellow, our master of ceremonies that we've hired for the last 3 years, asked me the question of, did I believe in Bigfoot? And I told him no, and he just started laughing. And he said, that's hilarious. And I said, yeah. He said, but let me explain to you this. You don't have to believe in Bigfoot. Bigfoot brings people together. And if you think of it, it does. You know, the idea of it, the conversations about it, the research that these people do, and I don't know, I'm not going to speak on what that is, but, you know, and then the idea that people just like the idea of a Bigfoot. You know, it brings people together for this festival, and our festival, according to this MC who travels all over the United States, says the Forest County Bigfoot Festival is probably the best, if not the best, the second best Bigfoot festival in the country. He says it's like a big county fair. And of course we make it free to attend, which is makes it also desirable, and people who have this Bigfoot belief can come and listen to their favorite researcher in person without having to pay anything. So it's just a fun time. We get about 130 vendors. We get prominent names from the Bigfoot community to come and give presentations. We have a Bigfoot calling contest. We have a biggest foot contest. We have a Bigfoot hunt. Just fun activities for people for the weekend. And we can draw anywhere between 10 and 20,000 people to Marionville over the course of the weekend.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And one more time, when is that every year?
It is always the weekend before Father's Day.
Okay. All right. That's a beautiful time in Pennsylvania. Perfect time for that.
And well, we chose that because the kids are just getting out of school. Nobody's left for vacation yet.
I gotcha. Hey, one last thing about the mountain man aspect in the woods, Dave. I've talked about this from time to time, but for people out there that, there's a lot of people now that, to get to their local gas station, they just get in their car, they turn on the music and they hit the GPS. I mean, they're not trying to figure much out, And, I'll be honest, I'm guilty of that. I think most people are. But like for a guy like you who spent all that time in the woods, I mean, the cell service is spotty in a lot of remote locations. And I don't care how good of a mountain man or woman you are, at some point, man, all the trees are going to look the same. So just for the viewers out there, all this time, in the woods, what was like the scariest, like, oh, I'm turned around moment? And then like for people that are ever in that spot, how did you get out of that?
I've never been lost, but I've been fearsome confused for a day or two.
How'd you fight the panic? How did you process it and get through it and find your way out?
Well, you just kind of got to stop. And I remember I was about 16 years old. I was here in the Allegheny National Forest, and I sat down up against an oak tree in this remote place where the camp was we were staying, watch for squirrels, and I get up and I started walking, and I turned around and I go, crap, I don't know where I'm at. And so I thought, well, if I go that way, I don't know where I'm going to go. If I go that way, I don't know where. If I get down over the hill, there's a creek down over the hill. I know that. It was actually the Tynesta Creek. And so I walked down over the hill, and I was a lot further away from what I thought. And I walked downstream on the Tynesta, and there was an old logging road that I recognized, and I came back up it. And, like I said, I've never been lost, but I've been fierce and confused for a day or two. There's, and really that is probably the only time in my life where I flat out did not know where I was. I have a fairly good sense of direction. I can remember the landmarks fairly well. Now, our woods in the Upper Peninsula can get confusing. And even with the maple sap lines in them, we got 260 acres, and the understory is thick. There's a very small deer population, so there's no browse line in the woods. And the first time Zenobia and I walked that woods when we was looking at the property, I said to her, "There's no deer here." She says, "How can you tell?" I said, "Look at the carpet of sugar maple seedlings." The entire forest was nothing but a carpet of sugar maple seedlings of various age. And sugar maple is one of the favorite foods of deer for forage. And it was just everywhere. So, there's that, and there's places that the previous owners, like I said, did very little maintenance. There's places where there's 8-foot high saplings that you can barely get through, that you cannot see through. So you kind of got to pay attention to what you're doing in the summertime. Wintertime, it's not as bad because the leaves aren't on and you can see through that. Now, right now, I'm working at alleviating some of that. I actually went out and bought a DR field and brush mower that I'm using to brush out all the main lines, so we can at least walk in the woods and maintain them. But probably one of the most exciting things that's ever happened to me whenever I was in the woods, I was turkey hunting, probably 20 years ago, and I was calling a gobbler, and I had one all wound up, and he was coming, and all of a sudden he stopped, and I looked out through the timber, and here comes a fisher.
Oh, wow.
That's rare.
That's crazy.
Well, there's fisher everywhere up here.
Really?
Oh, yeah. That fisher stopped 2 feet from my foot. And he's there up on his hind feet looking around, and I'm sitting there and I'm full camouflage, face mask and everything, and honest to God, my heart was pounding through my chest, I'm thinking, holy crap, I've caught them in a trap before, and released them, but there he was, untethered right at my foot. And I just let him sit there for about 20 seconds, and I just went, hey, just like that. And man, he was gone.
That's a crazy encounter.
It was wild. Honest to God, I couldn't believe it. But I've handled probably every fur bearer in Pennsylvania, and I've came very close to handling bear also. I've had bears caught in my traps whenever I was trapping, and my good fortune is they were able to get out.
I was going to say, how'd you get the bear out of the trap?
They were able to get out on their own, so yeah. And then, coyotes, I've caught coyotes. Now, in Michigan, we actually saw a wolf not far from our house, and both winters I saw wolf tracks in the sugar bush in Michigan. So that I really don't want to encounter. I'm not a fan of wolves. I know there's a lot of people that are, but now a single wolf, there's probably not a lot to be concerned about. But if I saw a pack of wolves, then I would probably have a lot more concern. But and that's kind of foreign to us that live here in Pennsylvania, because we don't have that.
Right.
Yeah, Dave, our wolves in Pennsylvania walk on 2 legs.
Yeah.
And ironically, they move in packs.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's been challenging the last couple of years, and it's also been exciting. I'm going to be 70 on August the 1st, and I feel very fortunate and blessed that I can still do what I'm doing. I've had bouts with arthritis and other things that have slowed me down, but I just kind of work through it and, keep going, because I know there's people that I went to school with that are way less fortunate than I am. So.
Well, Dave, the world is definitely significantly better with people like you in it. You're proof that you don't need, some fancy PhD or degree, and obviously you don't get your diploma until you die. But the corporate background to build something incredible, you just need grit, good values, willingness to work, and obviously, a supportive family that, is not afraid to go out there and do maple syrup lines in negative 20-degree weather.
Yeah. Well, I attribute to that work ethic to my father. He instilled in us the value of a good day's work. And if you want anything, I found out early on in life, you have to work for it. And you also need the right partner too to achieve your goals. So because sometimes they do not appreciate your goals. So as I said before, I attribute my success where we are today to my wife, Zenobia, who is a great business partner as well as a great personal partner. So and I know a lot of times we get involved in things and we kind of forget who we're with and why we're with them, and every day we get up and go to work together, and and we have a goal, that we're working towards. So that's one thing that a lot of people fail to have as a goal in life, and you saw our tubing set up here in Pennsylvania, Ryan.
Yeah.
And it's for the untrained eye, it's big.
Oh, it's impressive. Yeah.
Lot there, and I built 85% of that by myself. And people ask me, Dave, how in the heck did you do that? One step at a time. It's just step at a time. If you got a goal, you got to figure out what it is it's going to take to get you to that goal and complete one step every day. Do one step, and you're one closer to your goal the next day. So, and that's how. Because if you would look at it as a whole, you become overcome, and that happened to me whenever we took on our Michigan project. It's 3 times bigger than what we have in Pennsylvania. And I was having difficulty looking at it in steps until I was able to figure out the steps and look at it in increments instead of an overall project. I had difficulty getting things accomplished. Now that I have a plan and I know the steps that I need to take to accomplish that goal, I will not have any trouble accomplishing that goal.
That's half the battle is getting the game plan. But, you said some things there that we've lived by and we were trained by, watching our parents. I mean, our dad, to your story, he's a 70s guy. He was, he was in that lifestyle of the 70s, wild and crazy. They called him Randy Wildcat. And, he was like you, man. He was all full blast, no fear, take it on. And he met my mom. He got married at 19, same as you, and she settled him down. But he found the right partner, and she was supportive of his drive, supportive of his vision. And that really enabled him, along with her stabilizing him, to allow him to get to where he got to. And then Doug and I have both been very fortunate to get great partners, and Brand and Lynn's, and they're very understanding of us and our drive, and putting up with all the hours and all that kind of stuff. But it's funny, you also said about how to take on a project. And for those out there that it's exactly right. Sometimes Doug and I would catch ourselves. You get anxious. You think of all this stuff you're in charge of, all the stuff you want to do, all the stuff you want to build, and it can get you into a fury. But you say to yourself, I heard from a long time ago from a guy, and I don't remember who the guy was, but there was a guy at one point that told me how to eat an elephant, one bite at a time. And so I calm myself with that, and I get through things like that. And to your point, you have your plan. You just pick away at it. You pick away at it one step at a time, and you get it done. But Dave, it's been great having you. And I'll tell you what, every question I had, you answered. And I think this is going to just be a great episode for people that want to learn more about maple, that maybe don't know what they don't know about maple. And just hearing your life story is amazing. So really appreciate you being on the show today, Dave. And for those out there that haven't tried Yaney Maple, all 3 stores have it every single day, and you can find it too at the Fort Armstrong Folk Festival, first full weekend in August. So, Dave, thank you for being on the show today. We really appreciate your time.
Well, thanks, Doug and Ryan, for having me on, and I appreciate the invite. And I'll bring you 6 more cases of maple syrup tomorrow.
Bang! You better, because when they see this episode, they're going to be coming for it. Thanks again, Dave.
Hey, have a good day, guys. Thank you.
Oh, you too, man. I'll see you later.
All right.
Bye.
PA Skill players seek genuine PA Skill games. How can you tell the real from the imitation? The PA Skill Alliance offers a 4-step identification process to help you find genuine PA Skill games. 1. Check for logos. Does the machine display official Pennsylvania Skill Game logos? 2. Look for Powered by Pace-O-Matic. Is it Powered by Pace-O-Matic visible on the game's casing? 3. Assess business reputation. Is the game a reputable business? Genuine PA Skill games were not intended to be standalone businesses. 4. Examine game style. Is it a tic-tac-toe style game that offers the option to win every time? Help combat fraudulent skill games by exclusively playing genuine PA Skill Alliance supported games. Discover more at paskillalliance.org.
That was a great interview with Dave Yeany, mountain man, just PA legend. He's going to turn 70 this year. What a 70 years, man. That's a 70 years to be proud of. But right now, guys, it's time for one of my favorite segments. Retail stories from around the world.
Guys, when you usually think about what happens with shrink, or retail shrink, we usually think about some guy stuffing ribeyes down his pants, running out of the front of the store, only to be tackled by a neighbor. But no, this is different. This is mass scale.
I mean, we're talking about $18.7 million insider operation that pulled off the greatest grocery supply chain heist in modern history.
When we think of that kind of number, you think of diamonds, gold, mass embezzlement, bad store location. No, this involved 10,000 barrels of pure grade A maple syrup.
Well, everybody knows Canada. There's a reason that the maple leaf is the sign of Canada. I mean, Quebec produces over 70% of the world's maple syrup. They basically operate like a cartel. When there's a surplus, they hoard it in the Global Strategic Maple Syrup Reserve.
Which sounds completely fake, but literally it's a massive warehouse in Quebec where they just filled with millions of pounds of syrup, unmarked barrels.
Right. So in 2011, Guy Richard Valeris realizes the warehouse has almost zero security and is only audited once a year. So his crew literally rents space in the same building.
And they didn't have to break in. They literally just drove their fork truck over and moved the barrels into their space and siphoned the syrup into tanker trucks.
And the crazy part, to make sure the inventory looked correct to everyone walking the floor, they refilled the original 600-pound barrels with water before putting them back. It's the old sub the vodka with the water trick from high school, man. I mean, they literally took the sub the empty vodka with water bottle trick and took it into an $18 million heist.
And the crazy thing is, what people don't realize is they didn't have to go out into the woods and meet some guy for a deal on maple syrup. They literally used the channels the government was using, undercut the government, and resold them back to North American retail channels.
Yeah, they boiled it down, repackaged it, sold it to normal distributors across Ontario, New Hampshire, and Vermont. If you bought syrup on the East Coast in 2012, which I think Brandon and I probably did because we made a couple trips to Canada that year, and we always bought some maple syrup when we were up there. There's a very chance it was a fenced product.
Just think about that. You're in the pancake syrup aisle and you grab a syrup and you're really just supporting, legal, stolen, and basically black market maple syrup.
Yeah, I mean, a multi-million-dollar black market ring. And the only reason they got caught, they would have got away with it if it wasn't for those kids. Scooby-Doo reference. But anyway.
Valid.
The only reason they got caught is because they eventually got lazy. I mean, most of the crooks, that's what happens. You get lazy. They stopped refilling the barrels with water. A year later, an inspector climbed up a massive stack of barrels to do an audit, and one just tipped right over because it was completely empty. I mean, for those of you out there, kids, not kids, they're going to take somebody else's bottle of whatever, alcohol, non-alcohol, and in between. Don't get lazy and not refill, because the first time that they look and do a little inventory or cleaning, dusting, and the
barrels are shaking.
Yeah. The barrel starts shaking. That should be holding thousands of pounds of syrup.
And not to say I condone crime, but listen to this. The guy ended up only getting 8-year prison sentence for stealing that much money and only had to pay half of it back.
Wait, how's that math work?
They said that the cost was only 9.4. He did all the legwork of moving it, and so they only wanted the cost of the original syrup back.
I mean, it's easy for us to say 8-year, federal prison sentences
in Canada.
I mean,
oh my God, they probably give you pancakes every morning like this. Oh, is that good? Yeah,
see,
that's great.
I'm picturing a work camp where you're like
No,
picking
come on.
ice blocks off the Arctic or something.
There's a reason they have the largest string of retail thefts in the world, because the crime, and the pain and suffering and of the punishment ain't worth. It's worth it.
You're in there you're in prison, just in there playing video games with the guys, sitting there drinking your maple syrup. Buddy the Elf style.
Yeah, and like you have a spa treatment at 12, and then you have a nap time at 2.
Goes to show whether it's a $3 stick of deodorant or 3,000 tons of maple syrup. If you don't lock down your inventory and audit your warehouse, somebody's going to walk out the door with it. It goes back to 85% or 80% of the world will steal if given opportunity. So one of our jobs in our world, have eyes on it, have procedures, checks and balances, try to take away the temptation.
And always enforce.
And always test the barrels to make sure that there's something in them.
Shake them. But Ryan, it's funny. That inspired me. I'm changing my retail story this week. It's going to be good. But I want to hear yours first.
A late change.
I mean, we're real late in the game right now.
We're real late in the game right now. Anyways, well, you know what? I'm going to tell my retail story. My retail story of the week is the story of my first and only trip to the very prestigious Duquesne Club in downtown Pittsburgh. I mean, this club, we're talking about Carnegie. We're talking about Mellon. We're talking about Phipps. We're talking about some serious people here. Not Phipps. What was the guy that ran the thing for Carnegie, and then Carnegie came back and he ended up getting shot by his other people? Frick. Frick. I was thinking about Frick. We're talking about those kind of guys were members of this club, and it's still there in downtown Pittsburgh. And I got a chance to go there. I was invited to go there. Went there for a reception. Brandon and I are there trying not to look like tourists, waiting until nobody's looking and getting pictures in front of things and stuff. And it was great. It was fun. It was neat just to be there. But interesting, Brand got the new vehicle, bought it off Attorney Luke's 700 shop in Catania, a Yukon, nice vehicle, big. And so we roll in, and there's valet. There's nowhere to park downtown, so it's valet. So valet takes it, whatever. So end of the soiree, we call ahead, text ahead. Okay, your vehicle will be ready. Well, the thing is that the lady that was with us that we were talking to had texted ahead, probably literally 25 to 30 minutes before we did. So we just had texted ahead. So we rolled down, and they said it won't be ready for 15, 20 minutes. So we rolled down. This lady's still waiting. Our vehicle comes storming up to the side. I'm like, whoa, VIP. I look like a real player. Everybody else is waiting, and I just roll in, and my vehicle's ready. So, Brandon and I walk up to the vehicle, and she goes to get in, and I go around the side, and the guy gets out, looks at me, he's like, he's like, Very odd for valet and a counter. Usually it's a quick, boom, here's your $5, give me my keys. It's very quick and go. He's like, oh no. I'm like, I'm thinking, what's happening right now? You know, I go from being the player rolling down, and I didn't say anything. He's like, oh, I'm busted. Here, he had a freaking sack of some kind of fast food, Taco Bell or something. And you know, he's like, oh, sorry, man. He's like, I just got some food. I'm like, okay, it's all right. I got my car. Still gave him the $5 and left. Odd. But then we get in the car. Multiple smells in the car. There's some pizza in the air. There's some tacos in the air. There's some chicken in the air. Here, I mean, I know what happened. You know, can you figure out what happened?
He was door dashing.
This dude, this valet, was double dipping with my vehicle around Pittsburgh, door dashing or Uber Eats or whatever the heck he was doing, side hustle while working there, using my vehicle to do his little door dashing.
Did you get his number?
No.
We should hire that guy.
He's smart.
Very aggressive.
Very aggressive. And he was straight with me. I mean, not totally straight with me. I had to figure out some of it on my own. He tried to make it look like he was just going out and getting his own dinner. It had me fooled for a minute. I mean, until I smelled, you know, any idiot knows that you can't find pizza, chicken, and tacos in one spot. And if you do, that's not a spot you want to eat at.
That's not a great sports bar.
So my valet guy was side hustle. The only thing was positive out of it, well, there was people waiting up to 45 minutes for their vehicle. Probably because the freaking valet guy's outdoor dashing. But I was lucky enough to have him using my vehicle, so I got in and out of there quick. But I mean, that's wild. I mean, what are the odds of the timing?
I think it's funny, your experience and my experience with Duquesne Club. I went down there with Baker once to see GT Thompson speak.
Mm-hmm.
I was down there with Baker, and I had to wear a suit, and we were having some beverages and smoking some cigars, and they called me, and that's when I got Saxonburg. Next year, bank called me that day. I was there, and they're like, "You got the store.
Wow.
You got the SBA. You got the SBA loan. You got everything. You got full bore. Time to go to work."
You got an amazing store, and I got chicken smells in my brand new to us vehicle that took a couple weeks to get out. So
wait a minute. Well, no. That's Turney's thing you got.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that guy was immaculate.
He was immaculate, and it still had the new car smell. So it was beautiful. And this guy's whipping bags of tacos, whipping bags of pizzas. I mean, it needed to, it took a while for all those smells to get. I mean, this guy, I will say, he was hustling, man.
I can't believe he didn't game it a little bit. Be like, I want to give you a 5. You're going to give me a 20.
No, you know what? At that point, there were some very respected people.
You didn't want to hustle the hustler.
I didn't want to. No, I mean, I just wanted. At that point, I looked like a player because everybody else waiting on their car. People that are way more prestigious than me, and I'm rolling out there, and my car comes right up. I mean, it made me look like a player. So I just had to roll with it as if it was just happening.
Yeah.
So the dude, I mean, it was just funny. It was funny.
Wild. Shout out to the valet guy downtown. Killing it. But guys, we're going to talk about another retail trend this week. The retail trend in the maple syrup world, the clean label. And for those who don't know, as Ryan looks over his notes, maple syrup, as most people have experienced it, is not maple syrup. It's corn syrup and artificial flavors and colors. So 99% of most maple syrup you think is maple syrup is really just corn syrup.
Yeah, and you need to stop calling it pancake syrup. I mean, when you see the interview, you're going to see how many ways you can use true maple syrup. And if you're an independent grocer and you still think of maple syrup as just a breakfast condiment, you're leaving massive margins on the table.
$1.8 billion business every year is what it's worth. And it has nothing to do with the waffles. It has the idea of sugar or cane sugar replacement.
Yeah, and today we're breaking down why pure maple syrup is rapidly replacing refined sugar across the entire grocery store and how you need to change your merchandising tomorrow to cash in on it. And you know what? My family is a prime example. Your family is a prime example. I mean, we are literally like Buddy the Elf. We are dumping it on salmon. We're dumping it in our lattes. I mean, it's all over, man. It's all over.
It's crazy. You know, back in the 70s and 80s, the food industry realized that real maple syrup, as Dave Yeany and his family take care of it, is a very expensive thing to harvest. It's inconsistent. And so they wanted to engineer a good old-fashioned bait and switch and give you what you think is maple syrup, but really just modified corn syrup that's been dyed with also artificial coloring.
Yeah, I mean, the era of plastic squeeze bottle. Brands replaced actual maple syrup with high fructose corn syrup, caramel color, and artificial flavors. An entire generation grew up thinking that the thick, artificial sweet chemical paste was what syrup was supposed to taste like. I mean, this guy, I mean, when I think back at how many jugs of log cabin I've probably knocked down in my life, you know, if I lose a few years at the end, I guarantee you some of it's going to be due to all that corn syrup that I ate and everything, you know?
Oh, that's not great for you, but it's funny. Uncle Jack, you know, he likes pancakes sometimes on weekends when he's here. And so one day I'm like, hey, we got maple syrup back there. And he's like, oh, yeah. And I'm like, okay. So I get the pancakes done. I get the bacon done. I get the orange juice out. Everything's ready to rock. And he brings out this plastic squeezy bottle. And I'm like, what the is that? And he's like, what are you talking about? It's maple syrup. I'm like, read the ingredients. And literally after about 5 minutes of reading the ingredients, you realize there ain't no maple in that syrup.
Well, and you know that those syrups aren't they're not good for you because you basically, to be able to read all the ingredients, if you're over the age of 40, you got to take a picture of it, blow it up on your phone, full screen, and then you can see the ingredients. I mean, it's like, and what's one of the top ingredients?
Corn syrup.
Boom.
And the interesting thing is too, is like, so like if you look at the whole process, like, you know, we read about other things. When you hear the word spread, when you hear the words like, what's it called? It's juice drink. Like all these fun, catchy words are just ways that they can cheapen the ingredients, get rid of the natural stuff, and slam in them chemicals. You know, it's crazy. So, but now we've seen it with Dave Yeany. I mean, people aren't afraid to spend $15 plus on a bottle when it's true maple syrup, and they literally, just like Frank Red Hot, they put that on everything.
No, they don't want unprocessable chemicals in their foods. I mean, they want one ingredient, and you can't get any cleaner than pure maple syrup. Literally, just boiling tree sap. It's unrefined, naturally contains zinc and potassium, and fits perfectly into a whole food, clean label lifestyle that younger shoppers demand.
I hear if you drink a pint of it, you can see Sasquatch.
I've never drank a whole pint. I'm willing to try that, man, because so good. I mean, have you had any maple bourbon?
Oh yeah,
so good. And maple old fashions. Oh,
yeah, they should do.
So good.
I just had an idea for a product.
So good.
Yeany should team up with a dispensary.
They should team up with you and have a whole series of maple fall lattes.
Oh, we're doing that.
Oh, but you're right though. I mean, I don't think there's any relationship that I'd say no to involving maple. I mean,
other than the ground, you can't put it on the ground.
Even then, I mean, I think I'd try to get it up, but you're right. You can't put it on the ground.
Can't put it on the ground.
You can't put it on the ground. But yeah, anything else? I mean, I'm even picturing. I don't know why this came to my mind. We just wrote an ad today, so it was in the ad. But I mean, have you been picturing like celery sticks? I can see a celery stick in maple.
No, I can too if you somehow made it thicker. Because if not, it's going to go down the chute right into your sleeve.
Well, it's got to be a quick transaction.
Oh.
I mean, you can't be sitting there waiting. I mean, anything. You're right, anything. Oh, so good, man.
So shout out to the maple industry. Keep up the authentic work, running them sugar lines and doing all that hard work because we really appreciate the product. And make sure you pick up a bottle of Yeany's at your local grocer, Sprinkles Market.
Yeah, that's where independent stores like us can win, man. You get all these sourced, incredible local products like this Yeany's syrup, and you tell a clean label story in the way massive chains can't. So, I mean, like for us, you really pushed that a few years ago, and we keep on building with brands like Yeany's. And it's really given us a nice competitive advantage. And people that are like, oh, I'm sick of losing money to online. I'm sick of losing traffic online. Those are the kind of things that people will travel for and people will search out, seek out.
Oh, yeah. Something you can't get on the apps, Instacart. But Ryan, another thing you can't get on Instacart, maybe you can, is in the bag this week. So it's one of my favorite segments. Is Ryan's grocery list item of the week.
Where is it?
Where'd you put it?
It's still in my truck.
Okay, as he's running out there, I'll tell the story of it.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be bringing us, some energy drinks, some 12-pack energy. But you know what? No, he's bringing us something else. It is one of my favorite German snacks. Hint, hint. But a lot of people don't know the actual history of hers. It didn't start with pretzels. It started in 1946 when a 21-year-old kid named Jim Herr bought a tiny potato chip company in Lancaster County for exactly $1,750. Which is crazy. He's running it out of his empty tobacco shed of his family's chicken farm. And then it almost didn't survive. In 1951, a grease fire completely burned down the factory to the ground. He could have quit, but instead he bought 37 acres in Nottingham, Pennsylvania, and rebuilt the whole thing and eventually expanded into the pretzels in the 1970s. The sourdough pretzels are what changed the game. They're still the age of sourdough, an old-fashioned way. It's actual fermented process of like sourdough as we hear, which is why it's been a distinctive snap flavor and the giant national brands can't touch. The retailer perspective is the regional brands are absolute secret weapon to independent grocers. We talked about that with the syrup. You can't outcompete massive big block stores on a national scale. The only way you can do it is by having that niche, local brand and teaming with that local DSD vendor to create an end cap of experience that drives sales, creates opportunity, and allows guys like us to be competitive in a very competitive market. So Ryan, without further ado, back from his truck, let's go on the best to go road snack in the bag.
That's funny that I left it in the truck.
I've never done a whole segment by myself, but I think I did pretty good.
Yeah, you did great. It's warm from being in my truck and at 85 degrees, but hey,
still fermenting.
Hers, baby. Hers extra thin pretzels. I love extra thin Hers pretzels. And, it's a great snack. And again, it's just a good all around snack. I mean, low calories, no fat, just a little. I know we were going to say sodium. It has a little bit of sodium, but not much. When they start talking about milligrams, that's not much. But here's the beauty of it. Ready? Sweet crunch. Just a crunch, man. I mean, you got a football game, you get a bag of these. I mean, hours are just bliss.
My only complaint about anything bagged is when you have to share with somebody else, they're going,
No.
and then going in the bag.
I don't share. I avoid it.
What happens? What happens? Oh, about like the party punch bowl with a sour cream in the middle.
No. I don't participate.
Oh, you bring your own bag?
No.
Oh,
I just don't eat them in that setting. I look for a more individual snack.
An intimate setting.
But if I'm at home, a bunch of people around, I think they're going to want some of my bag. You know what I do? Get a couple different bowls, spread it out.
And then you eat your own bag.
And I just have my own bowl.
Oh.
But I like if 4 of us, I see ahead, the vultures will be coming. So I got 4 bowls or 4 plates, whatever. Dose it out.
So will you eat the bag once it's opened? If you saw it, like,
but I don't just put it like on the table and say, "Here you go, boys."
No. If you're like,
if it's my family, yeah,
okay,
yeah. I mean, at home I don't do that, but I'm saying if we were in a setting where I'm watching a game or something, and I'm not gonna be stupid to come out like this because pretty soon, some guy just came in from working on a truck and had his hand who knows where. It's gonna be like elbow deep, just feeling around for the right one. No. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not even going to give that an opportunity.
I feel like our her story just went wild.
And if I don't have any bowls, I'm not getting that bag out until I think the coast is clear, man.
You're going to go to the store and get your own bowls.
I'll even go as far to say, hey, guys, I got to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom.
With your bag.
Put the bag under the sink. Get it out. Pound down a bunch.
You've never done that.
One time I did.
Wow.
Swear to God, in college.
Well, that was back when you had no money and you didn't want anybody to steal your stuff.
Had nothing to do with money. Sure, I didn't have any, but it was more just I didn't want some half drunk, whatever, going in and digging around.
That's amazing.
With hands that you don't know where his hands are. Anyways. Yeah.
Scammy.
Yeah. Great stuff, though. Hers, baby.
Well, you're mowing down your.
And again, they don't pay us to do this. It's just stuff I like.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good. Just like plus it inspires more segments, which is nice.
If they're willing to at some point, hey. But right now, it's just what I like.
If you see Ryan put on 40 pounds and look just totally bloated at all times, he got the deal. Speaking of deal, though,
it's time for Doug's Retail Story of the Week.
This retail story, we go to California. California is known for zoos, right? So back in the 80s, there was a zoo that had, some parking lots around it. And so then during that time, a gentleman walks up and he's getting ready to go into the zoo. And then some guy hands him money and parks his car. And he's like, that's interesting. Next guy comes up, hands him money, parks his car. So then he goes back and he's like, that's weird. And at that time, this parking lot was kind of rough. There was overgrown weeds, things of that nature. So he went down to the courthouse and looked it up. And here it was stuck in some kind of loophole legal system where there was no active owner of this thing. It was tied up in court and all this stuff. So he would go, he cut the whole parking lot. Made it look really nice. Went over and made a little booth with a little stanchion thingy. Would let cars in. They'd pay him, let cars in, right? Had this whole process going. So every day, he didn't miss work in 20 years. 20 years this guy didn't miss work. He would go, and if he couldn't make it, he'd have his cousin that he trusted to do it. But he would go with his little briefcase, go to his little security shack, and collect $20 a car for 20 years, every day of the week, on one of the most busiest zoos in California, right? So he does this. Tax-free, does this for 20 years. All of a sudden, some new leadership comes into the zoo and says, hey, I was coming in today and I noticed there's this parking lot kind of out of the way. Do we own that? And they're like, well, no, we don't own that. And they're like, huh. Goes down to the courthouse and everything else and discovers that this thing was gifted to them, but they never really took ownership or something. They go over to the booth and ask the guy, hey, man, do you know what, who do you report to for this parking lot? He's like, it's some guy. And at this time, he's 20 years older. He's like, some guy downtown I report to. And they're like, oh, okay. So they get, they're like, well, do you mind giving us their number? He's like, oh, yeah, you know what? I have it at home. When I get home, I'll make sure I bring it back with me tomorrow. He never shows back up. He took all the money and just disappeared. For 20 years, 7 days a week, $20 a car.
Wow.
Cash. But talk about like the sweat you would have every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Could be the last day.
See, I don't want that, man. I mean, I don't want that. Anything that involves the end being federales, no.
Well, the other thing, so because of the way it was tied up, it was like the biggest confidence thing. Because really, he went through the process of upkeeping this area, having a little security shack, people parking there, and he was so believable that even the people that worked around him thought that he just worked there.
It's like greatest con scheme in history. The question is though, was there anything besides the tax evasion that was illegal? Was there anything illegal about it other than the tax evasion?
Million things. First off, you're not allowed just to say that you work for somebody, you don't work for somebody.
Did he say that he worked for them, though? Did he say, I wonder if he said that he worked for the zoo. I wonder if he said he did.
It was zoo parking. It had a sign that said zoo parking.
It said zoo parking.
$20.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a lot of illegal things about it. But the crazy thing is he got away with it. And I'm pretty sure they still don't know his identification. So some dude
made a career out of a con.
Yeah.
That would be something, though. You're right. Every day you'd be sweating it out. That wouldn't happen at Sprankles, because I tell you what, if somebody opens up a hot dog stand in one of our parking lots, man, we're like, whoa. or if somebody's even trying to hand out promotional flyers without previously letting us know, or somebody we knew or something like that. No, we don't deal with that. Although, I mean, we're not a multi-billion-dollar company like a zoo, where we're very small, but like that's wild that no managers, no administrators, no board members rolling in ever thought to question this guy.
No. See, I'm blessed in Saxonburg because anything I do, 15 township managers come to me with, objections.
I tell you, speaking of which, it's off topic, but we've talked about this kind of stuff before. But I saw one of your so-called, not rivals, nemesis township guys. I saw them in your store leaving with a cart of groceries.
That's the best part.
No, I mean, no. I mean, a full-on participant of the Sprankle brand.
Did he pay for it?
Oh, I mean, I would assume so. I mean, it was in bags.
I'll ask you who it was afterwards.
I mean, he was a very older gentleman with a gray beard, a gray salt pepper beard, long kind of stringy, architect-looking guy.
Oh, okay. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, whoa.
Wild.
Actually, it was funny. I saw him, and I was, I always say hi to everybody, but I was like, oh, hey. And he was a little off guard by it. It was weird, though. It was a strange encounter in general because you guys have had all this friction. He's in the store. Obviously, he enjoys the store. And then he sees me, and it's like, I wasn't awkward because, I mean, I deal with awkward stuff all the time. I could tell he was a little awkward by it. Like, who do you think he was going to see? Like, it was like he ran into me in the mall or something. Like, what I mean? Like, it's Sprankles, it's our store. Like, it was like he was surprised that he saw me there.
Well, maybe he thought,
Strange.
maybe he had my time down, like when I'm there and not there. Yeah. And he thought the odds of me seeing me after a certain time was probably not great. And all of a sudden you come crawling in with your, diaper bag and cheesesteaks.
Oh, okay. Thought the coast was clear.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Hey, whoever you are.
Yeah.
Thank you for supporting us.
Your business. Yeah,
I'm glad we buried the hatchet.
Thank you. Yeah. No, I mean,
for a while there, I was going to bury a hatchet somewhere, but
you know what? We don't want any problems.
No.
Any problems.
No, but isn't that funny though? The guy got away after 20 years.
That's like I said. I mean, I can't believe nobody ever questioned that.
Hundreds of cars a day. Hundreds of cars.
A day. No off-duty board member or anybody like that like saw this happening and was like.
It was no, because the workers parked close to the park, because obviously that's part of their parking passes. He was on a fringe corner spot.
Yeah, what do they say? The best way to hide, the best place to hide is in plain sight.
Right, and because it was the zoo, let's face it, we all love the zoo. We love the zoo. We love the animals. We love people that do the animal thing. Yeah. I mean, we love to see monkeys.
I mean, I'm not a fan, but everybody else is.
Anyway. Case in point is people don't mess, just like they don't mess with the library. They don't mess.
Yeah.
They don't mess with the church.
Yeah, nobody's gonna mess with
They don't mess with the school for the most part, unless they're an angry parent.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't mess with the zoo.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's gonna be like, it's gonna be like you're walking by a college campus. Oh, that's cute, and just move on in your life.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's gonna walk in and tell the campus manager, "Can I see some permits?"
Yeah. No.
But that's my story. But guys, what an episode this week. We want to thank you to Dave Yeany for sitting down with us, coming off the mountain for a few minutes and telling us about his crazy stories. The guy's an absolute legend. And you don't have to show to need to know the fancy corporate backwards like Deep Dive to build something incredible. You just need grit, good values, and willingness to outwork everybody else around you.
Absolutely, 100%. I mean, especially those last couple of tidbits. If there's one thing to take away from today's show, Doug, it's independent retail is wild. Whether you're dealing with a black market maple syrup ring, customer screaming over a 50-cent coupon because they think they're always right, it's just a jungle out there, man.
Or apple pies from who knows where. I still can't believe the words actually came out of the customer's mouth, such as, "I'm always right."
You can't make it up, man. There's never a dull moment. We want to hear from you guys. Drop us a comment, drop us your story, like, share, subscribe on wherever you're watching us. Help us spread the word on the cast. The more eyes we get on it, the more likes, the more follows, the better chance we have of making it to 100 episodes.
And Guys, big shout out to our sponsors at PA Skill Alliance. Guys, the countdown's on. It's less than 100 days away. Some things are going to happen in Pennsylvania we're not big fans of because that means it's going to take away from the fire companies, the nonprofits, fraternal orders, American Legions, veteran organizations, and little grocery stores like us that use the money to help pay for health insurance and create opportunities within the communities we operate in every single day. Help them out, guys. Go to paskillalliance.org to find out more information. And remember, it's skill, not luck.
Baby. And remember, if you like this, if you like watching the Checked Out podcast and you want to support our headline sponsor, paskillalliance.org, call your local senator or representative and tell them that you don't want skill games to go away because you want to keep watching the Checked Out podcast.
And as always, guys, we can't do what we do without you. Like and share, and come and see us.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
That's a first.
It's a mess today, man. See you guys.
All right. That's amazing. I've never seen you do it like everything.